at conference and then as well on the last one. But do you mind touching on the filtration system again and just helping people understand the difference between, other water filtration systems that are on the market and why this is really so unique and innovative?
Yeah, so an important part in the design. So the fundamental discovery that the team that we have here is, I had this idea that we could embed photons of light in water by restructuring the water. So the initial experiments were to take water, put it through a PEM fuel cell, break the water down into hydrogen and oxygen, and then recombine the hydrogen and oxygen in the presence of a catalyst and in the presence of light or specific electromagnetic fields. And that is what resulted in this novel water. So when we were actually looking at, okay, well, how do we take this and put it into a machine? The obvious question that comes up is, well, what type of water are we starting with? We don't want to put tap water into this system because then we'll end up with all these harmful chemicals that we don't want to be drinking. So we knew from the very beginning we were going to have a very high-end filtration system. So it actually delayed the project by around 8 months. We went to all different manufacturers to work with and basically said, we need to have the best filter available. We need to be able to get rid of microplastics, the forever chemicals, in addition to the things that you would expect, like chlorine, heavy metals, pesticides. So the first stage of the filter removes all of those harmful things from the water. We then have a second stage that is a carbon block that acts to be as a second stage of filtration, but it also helps to put hydrogen into the water because we need to have oxygen and hydrogen in the water to basically create this effect. So it is not technically a hydrogenated water or hydrogen water as people would become familiar with because we're creating an entirely different effect. But the filtration is important because it means that people can put tap water into this and get absolutely clean water out.
Yeah, that is such an innovative multi-stage process that it goes through. So a couple more questions that keep coming up over and over. And again, I don't want to put you on the spot. So you can always say, hey, there's going to be more information at Vision. But the one is on, approximate price range. And I've loved some of the comments where they've said, what's the price? What's your health worth? It's incredible that people immediately see the health benefit and understand that it is an investment in your long-term health. Are we at a point where we can give just kind of general direction on pricing, or is that something that's better saved for Vision?
Yeah, I think we'll unveil it at Vision, but I am going to answer the question this way. And it would be that when we started this, the experimental setup that I had in my lab, the original equipment, it was about $30,000 to $35,000. The cost of the equipment that we had to make this water. And it was on a bench about 3 feet wide and roughly 9 feet long. So back in the initial phase of discovery, I had no idea how we were going to get this into something so small that it could fit on a kitchen counter, and how in the world we were going to get the cost down into something that people could afford. But over time, we innovated, we worked with some great engineers, and we started to come up with solutions for each of the systems. But one of the challenges that we have is that the cost of goods on this is high. And there's also a number of variables that are coming in. I would say the tariffs, the potential tariffs that are being discussed between the United States, Europe, Mexico, Canada, Asia, could have an adverse effect on the end cost of manufacturing the machines. But what I would say is, when we've spoken with our leaders about this, they've recommended a price range, and they want us to be competitive with other products on the market. Kangen is probably a good example. Our leaders would say that while they know the equipment is priceless, for what it does, and we have no competitor, we want as many people as possible to be able to afford this. So that's going to be the goal. The other thing that we're doing is we are going to be working with a vendor to provide financing. So if the initial purchase price is out of reach for people, that they could opt to finance it and pay for it over time. So that's going to be the objective. The other thing that we'll do is we of course have an incentive now. I really want to have an incentive where anybody can win a water machine and pay for it through hard work. We want as many people as possible to benefit from this. So just like we have incentives where people can win free trips, we want to put together the type of incentives where people can win a water machine. So yeah, the bottom line is we know how powerful this technology is, so let's get it to as many people as possible.
Yeah, that just made a lot of people happy. So thank you for that. One more tactical question. There is a few questions coming up just around kind of maintenance, the frequency, the need to replace filters. Can you share a little bit kind of on, what the ongoing process to keep that, working in top shape is?
Really simple. We've tried to make this as simple as possible. There's a big touch screen display on the top. So literally you just press one button on the screen and the water will dispense. The touch screen will also tell people how long it is for the water to process. It will tell people when it's time to change the filters. The primary filter with daily use, you'll change about once every 6 months, but it does depend on how many people in your home are using it. But if we used a rough estimate of about every 6 months, that's a good ballpark. The secondary filter is about once every 6 to 12 months. And you just simply open the panel on the right side of the machine and each of those filters unplugs, and then you plug them back in. And of course, we'll have complete instructions and videos on how to change those filters.
Thank you. I think one of my favorite comments so far throughout the hour is this tech is going to change so many lives. Thank you, David and LifeWave team. I think that sums up probably how everybody here is feeling. This has been an incredible hour. We're coming up on the end here. We unfortunately maxed out again at 3,000. So we'll have to try to find a way to make sure that more people are able to join. Of course, there will be a replay and access to this later. David, thank you so much for bringing this incredible innovation, for helping all of us as part of LifeWave to really stay on the cutting edge of health and wellness. This is a special year and a special time of year for many reasons, closing out 20 amazing, impactful years, moving into this next chapter. And again, a very special part of the year here where we get to spend time with friends, family. Do you mind sharing just a few thoughts that you have kind of as we're getting towards the close of this 20 years of LifeWave?
Absolutely. First, I think I would say this is going to be a bit cryptic, but I would say I wish I could tell people some of the things that I've seen happen when people drink this water, but it would get into making medical claims that we're not legally allowed to make. So I'll have to say that. But when we release the technology and people start to use it, they'll be legitimately shocked at some of the things that they see in an incredibly great way. So that's with that. First, I'm incredibly grateful for the year that we've had. This has been our 20th anniversary, as you know. And, looking back, the time between especially the time between August and October, where we got to have our 20th anniversary cruise, the grand opening of our office and welcome center in Draper, the incredible global conference that we had. It's something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. So I want to take this time to thank our community for making LifeWave #1 and making this the best year ever. Secondly, we're living in some incredibly uncertain times with the wars and the conflicts that are going on. But what I would say with that is we can always be one step away from living in a peaceful world and living in a world where there is no disease, there is no suffering. We have an abundant amount of energy, clean food, clean water, and it's up to us, meaning entrepreneurs in our community and in our industry, to show that there is a better way. Each of us can be ambassadors of hope. And that's really where this starts. We can be examples that there are solutions. People don't have to suffer in pain. They don't have to suffer with disease. And by changing one life at a time, this has a positive impact on the world around us. And in the future, we want to continue to build on that message by introducing these new technologies. In the future, as you know, we'll have a clean, abundant power generation system that I believe is going to help transform the world again in an incredibly positive way. I would say the future for LifeWave has never been better. And ultimately, even though today we are focusing in on this one area of health, this has some incredibly far-reaching prospects. And that is only going to become amplified dramatically with the water technology. There's going to be some things that at conference next year, a new technology that I'm bringing that I want to share with everyone. And it only serves one purpose. And this is a technology to promote peace and harmony in the world. It's a technological solution that I'm looking at to some of the problems that the world is dealing with today. I'm incredibly excited about the future and what's to come, and that LifeWave has positioned itself as being this beacon of truth and hope and light in the world. And I couldn't be any more proud of our community for what they've achieved.
Thank you, David. That's such a beautiful thought to end on. We're all so excited for this next year, for the incredible products that are coming out. Thank you, our global leaders, for helping to share these incredible products and benefits with people around the world. And wish you all happy holidays, and look forward to speaking again at the next LifeWave Connect. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Wayne.
我会从其后